to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of February 3rd. I'm Nicole Lairdix, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
And Terry Morrow.
Hello.
We're moms of teens and young adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes worrying about something or other. Wednesday is Complaint Day here on Parenting Roundabout, and today we're talking about friends who don't follow through with plans. Now, I'm not referring to us ourselves.
We never cancel recordings or anything, no.
Never. We never flake on our friends. But
y'all better send me your recordings after we're done here.
We get around to it eventually. You know, it's not like a total flake. But I'm just thinking, we're all kind of like, we're busy and we all have lives, but I feel like, aren't we old enough to appreciate and value our friendships? And when we make plans with our friends, like, don't we know well enough to just follow through with it as opposed to flaking at the last minute? I seem to have an issue with this lately, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. So help me understand why people flake.
Huh. Are you sending out messages that you're super understanding and so you won't care if people flake on you? Nicole will understand.
Maybe.
You need to throw a few tantrums,
Yeah, exactly.
Sulk a little bit.
Sulk a little. Like, actually say, no, that's not okay.
Right.
No, I couldn't do that.
No, and they know it. And that's why people flake on you.
Because I kind of, when you're younger and you have kids, you kind of get that whole last minute, like, oh, they threw up or they're sick or I'm too tired. They haven't napped. Like, you kind of get that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But as you get older and it's, I guess, I don't know, maybe you just also value your friendships more as you get older. I don't know.
Another thing that happens as you get older, you don't have those situations with your kids anymore. But my best friend, her father-in-law is having health issues, so we get things canceled because of that. Because he needs help, or
that's true.
So it's like we're the sandwich generation, right? We,
that's true.
One end or the other is going to cause us to disrupt things.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Catherine, how about you?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating because I find that it's, it just tends to be certain people. Like it's, and I'm not calling anyone out specific, but how I'm thinking of someone from a long time ago who just, would over and over make plans and then have something come up all the time. And then you just feel really like unimportant in that person's life.
Yeah,
totally.
If it happens over and over again, it's just like, well, obviously, you're just too busy for me, or this is not like a two-way street.
Yeah.
So I think that's really hard. If it's happening from different people for different reasons, then you might feel like, this is kind of like the time of life, or this is whatever. But if it's the same person, that's when you really feel like, hey, stop that.
Exactly. And of course, there have been times in my life when I've been guilty of doing that too. But I feel like, it's just that feeling of not being important or...
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And... I don't know if that's like a self-esteem issue. You'd think by now.
Well, and I do agree with Terry that, and I'm probably the same way. Like, if you're like, oh, it's okay, if you're understanding, then it can become a cycle.
But then what are you going to say though? Like, what would you say if somebody says, oh, I can't, you can't like, call them out on it. You have to be.
Yeah. And then if you're with that friend and they're talking about some other friend who's really demanding and needy and, and then it's like, well, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that type. I want to be the person you talk to about that person. But at the same time, that person is getting your time and I am not.
Right.
Exactly.
This is not fair.
Exactly.
And I also have, like, getting to the specifics of, if someone flakes, like, they just don't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely feel awkward. Like, do I text them? Like,
Oh, I know.
I'm sitting here. I thought we were meeting. Like, that is such a hard text to compose and send. I mean, I had it happen to me once where I was going to a show, like a theater production, and my friend had said that, and I had an extra ticket, and my friend said she wanted to come, and she forgot.
Oh, no.
And I'm sitting in the theater, like, what do I do? You know, she's not here.
What did you do? Did you stay?
I stayed, well, because I wanted to see it, and I had the ticket and everything, and yeah, later I was like, hey, you know, hope everything's okay, or I said something like that. And she was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I scheduled something in, you know, another town, and I really wanted to see that show.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, I wanted to see it with somebody, you know, I didn't really want to see it with an empty chair, but okay.
Jeez.
It was too late for anybody to do anything about it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But then are you supposed to confirm things 10 times? Like, just,
right.
It's all a mess.
It really is. You just want people to be there and to do that and to not have to manage another adult. You know?
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
We all do enough of that daily.
And sometimes, you know, if it's like a family friend who you've made plans and then they don't show up, then I have to deal with the disappointment of my kids. It's like, I can be understanding. You know, I feel like telling people, I am perfectly understanding for myself. I'm cool. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with it for me. I understand. But I'm mad for them. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know?
And I'm the one who has to explain it to them.
And I'm the one who has to deal with their disappointment.
Right.
And that's not right. You know, if you don't care about wasting my time or missing time with me, that's fine. But care about that.
Yeah, I have to say, that's the one that hurts the most.
Yeah.
Is when when things happen to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
When people flake on your kids.
Yes.
And, it still gets me. They're older and it still gets me.
And it's like you have to teach them not to be the kind of friend who flakes, even though possibly they're getting a bad model from other people. It's like, okay, you have to be understanding of this friend who lets you down, but you should never do that yourself. Well, like, why? on both ends of that question, why?
Yeah.
And that's a good question. There's no good answer to that. Just because we're masochists and we let people walk on us.
Well, I mean, because we want some grace when we have an issue, right? Like we want people to be able to say, okay, that's okay. But at the same time, I mean, but I try not to do that unless it's necessary. Like I'll pull myself through something.
Right.
Like I'll try it. But I'll often say my daughter can be prone to wanting to flake on people at the last minute, and I have to be like, no, you're going. She'll be the one. She's more the one to be like, I just want to stay home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've been home for 5 days. No, you can go. No, not that extreme, but.
And I mean, I relate to that because there's times I don't want to go out and be with people. Mm-hmm. But if you've made a commitment, you've made a commitment. And, you know, it always seems like a good idea at the time. And then when it actually gets there, it's like, I don't want to do this.
I think that's probably the best explanation. It sounded like a good idea at the time.
That's right. It's easy to force yourself to do things before you have to actually force yourself to do the thing.
I know. I have to go into LA tomorrow and I'm thinking, why did I agree to that? But I can't flake.
No.
She would do the same for me.
Yeah. No, you can't.
No.
So often. I wish I could.
Well, we try to avoid flaking on this podcast, and I think we do a pretty good job. We are not one of those who's like, we're going to take a short break, and then they don't come back for months.
That's right.
So
we don't have seasons. We're here all the time.
We're here all the time. And we will be back tomorrow when we will be obsessing about game shows for parents.
Yes.
And come back on Friday to see what we've come up with for our Roundabout Roundup picks this week. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there on our Facebook page or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.